ಗಣಪತಿ ಶಾರದಾ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ರಾಮಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಾಯ ವೇದಸೆ ರಘುನಾಥಾಯ ನಾಥಾಯ ಸೀತಾಯ ಪತಯೇ ನಮಃ. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 23 of Uttarakanda, in which we will see Ravana's struggle with the sons of Varuna. Having overcome Yama, the foremost of the gods, ten-necked Ravana, proud warrior, went to seek out his followers. Beholding him with his limbs covered with blood, riddled with wounds, they were amazed. With Maricha at their head, offered felicitations to him for his victory, and reassured by him, they all looked their places in the Pushpaka chariot. Thereafter, the Rakshasas descended into the watery region inhabited by Daityas and Uragas under the powerful protection of Varuna. From there, he went to the capital Bhogavati, where Vasuki reigns, and having subjugated the Nagas, he joyfully entered the city made of precious stones, where the Nivata Kavachas Daityas protected by Brahma dwelt, and the Rakshasa, approaching them, challenged them to fight. Instantly, those intrepid Daityas, full of valor, armed with every weapon in their martial order, rushed out joyfully. Then the Rakshasas and Danavas struck each other furiously with spears, tridents, kalishas, harpoons, as swords, and parashvadas. And while they fought thus, a whole year passed away without either side being victorious or suffering defeat. At the end of that time, grandfather, Lord of the three worlds, the imperishable God, appeared in his marvelous chariot, and in order to bring the bellicose activities of Nivata Kavachas to a close, that ancient one made known to them the purpose of his intervention, saying, Ravana cannot be overcome in battle by the gods or asuras, and you yourselves cannot be destroyed even by the immortals and Danavas together. It would find favor with me if the Rakshasas were joined with you in friendship. Undoubtedly, all benefits are shared by friends. Thereupon, in the presence of fire, Ravana concluded an alliance with the Nivata Kavachas and became their friend. Honored by them according to tradition, he sojourned in that place for years, where he passed his time exactly as in his own city. There, having studied 100 forms of magic, he became proficient in one. Then he set out to explore Rasatala in order to discover the capital of the world Lord of Waters, Varuna. Reaching the city of Ashma, he slew all the inhabitants and with his sword pierced his powerful brother-in-law Vidyujihwa, the consort of Shurpanakha, who was proud of his strength and who with his tongue was licking a Rakshasa preparatory to devouring him. Having slain him, Ravana thereafter in an instant destroyed 400 Daityas. It was then that the celestial abode of Varuna, resembling a cloud, dazzling as Mount Kailasa, appeared to that monarch, and he beheld where the cow Surabhi, from whom milk ever flows, which forms the ocean Kshirodha. Ravana saw Vararani, mother of cows and bulls also, from whom is born Chandra of cooling rays, who ushers in the night, taking refuge under whom the great rishis subsist on the froth of that milk from which the nectar of immortality, the food of the gods sprang, as also Swadha, the food of the Pitras. Having circumambulated wonderful cow, known to men as Surabha, Ravana penetrated into a formidable region fended by troops of every kind. It was then he beheld the splendid residence of Varuna bounding in hundreds of cataracts, ever wearing a delightful aspect and resembling an autumn cloud. Having struck down the leaders of the army in battle, whom he riddled with blows, Ravana said to those warriors, speedily inform the king that Ravana has come here seeking battle, saying, accept this challenge if you are not afraid, otherwise, paying obeisance to him, declare, I am defeated. Meantime, the sons and grandsons of the magnanimous Varuna provoked set out to set out with Go and Pushkara. Those valiant beings, surrounded by their troops, harnessed their chariots, that coursed that wheresoever they desired, and shone like the rising sun. Thereafter, a terrible struggle ensued, causing the hair to stand on end between the children of the Lord of the Waters and the crafty Ravana. Brave companions of the Rakshasa Dashagriva in an instant destroyed Varuna's entire army. Seeing their army struck down in the fight, the sons of Varuna, overwhelmed by a hail of missiles, broke off the conflict, and as they were escaping underground, they beheld Ravana in the Pushpaka chariot and hurled themselves into the sky in their fleet cars. Having attained an equally advantageous position, a desperate fight broke out afresh, and a terrible conflict arose in the air like unto that between the gods and the Danavas. With their shafts like unto Pavakas, put Ravana to flight, and in their joy emitted countless shouts of triumph. Then Mahodara, provoked on seeing Ravana thus sore pressed, banished all fear of death, and in his martial order, casting infuriated glances around about with his mace struck the chariots that were coursing well with the speed of the wind, causing them to fall on the earth. Having slain the soldiers and destroyed the chariots of Varuna's sons, Mahodara, seeing them deprived of their cars, emitted a loud shout. The chariots with their steeds and their excellent drivers, destroyed by Mahodara, lay on the earth, and though bereft of their vehicles, the sons of the magnanimous Varuna, by virtue of their natural prowess, remained courageously in the sky without being perturbed. Stretching their bows, pierced Mahodara, and gathering together, they surrounded Ravana on the battlefield, and with their formidable shafts, like unto thunderbolts loosed from their bows, they overwhelmed him in their rage as clouds rain down on a great mountain. On his side, irascible Dashagriva, like unto the fire of dissolution, showered down a fearful hail of missiles on their vital parts with irresistible and uninterrupted force. And there were mazes of every kind, ballas in their hundreds, harpoons lances, and huge Shatagnis. Then Varuna's sons, reduced to walking on foot, saw themselves restricted like unto 60-year-old elephants who have entered a great morass, and beholding the sons of Ravana thus stricken and exhausted, the supremely powerful Ravana emitted shouts of joy like unto an immense cloud, and letting forth those loud roars, he struck Varuna's offspring with shouts of every kind which he showered down upon them like a cloud. Thereupon turned back and fell headlong to the ground, and their followers carried them hastily from the battlefield to their homes, while the Rakshasas cried out, "Carry the tidings out to Varuna." Thereafter, one of the Varuna's counselors, named Prahasta, answered him, saying, "Varuna, the lord of waters, that mighty monarch whom you are challenging to combat, has gone to Brahmaloka to hear the Gandharva music. Why exhaust yourself in vain, O hero, since the king is not here?" Then the lord of the Rakshasas, having heard this, proclaimed his name and emitted climbed his name and emitted joyful cries. Thereafter, issuing out of Varuna's abode and returning from where he had come, Ravana descended into the sky and directed his course to Lanka. Thus come to the end, chapter 23 of Uttarakanda in Ramayana. Namaste Sharade Devi Kashmira Puravasini Swamaham Prarthage Nityam Vidyadanancha Dehime. Bye.